Trangy the other day and the way it decreased the prime time. I'd like to be able to do the same thing with a BIOS type stove without having a wick on the outside or using a priming tray or dumping any alcohol on my table. I'd like to try to get a wick on the inside up the walls, not just laying flat in the bottom and then push this down on top of it. So what I'm going to have to do is take a Dremel tool with a cutting disc, and I'm going to have to cut that lip that folds over off the bottom part of here so that I'll have room to get this wick on the inside. And then I'm going to slowly put it in there. I'm going to slowly roll it down over and continuously check it and make sure that it's riding up into the walls the way I want it to. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this off and stuff, and I'll get right back to you with the next couple steps. Dremel with the cutting disc, and I just took it around the inside there and cut that lip off the bottom. That would have prevented the wick from riding up inside. So as you can see here, the ring of the bottom piece is just hanging out in there. There we go. So you can see kind of how it rolled back up on itself there into the wall a little bit, and that just had to be taken out of the way so that I can get that wick down in there. So now I'm going to have to go and take this and wash all that crap out and come back and install the wick and then continue the rolling process. So I'm going to go ahead and get it cleaned up and this cleaned out, and I got my wick here, and I already applied a very small amount of petroleum jelly to the outside of this so that it'll be lubed up for the rest of the compression. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to try and slowly get this wick down in here and pressed against the sides and get it started up underneath the edge that I have rolled down already. And then I'm going to continue. Alright, so I have the wick installed in there. It's not the prettiest roll job, but it'll be fully functional. Anyway, I really just want to find out what effect that wick's going to have once it's all said and done. So I'm going to go ahead and start rolling it down a bit more in my vise, and I'm going to check on it frequently and make sure that that's riding up in there the way I want it to. And then when I get it all the way down, I'm going to jet it out and I'm going to fire it up. I'm also going to roll this one too, just the same, except maybe I might cut this down another 1/4 of an inch so that it's about the same height in the end, because of what I cut off on the inside there. And I'm just going to I want to do a comparison test of the two. I'm going to jet them exactly the same and everything. So, alright, we'll get right back to you guys. Okay, so I've been rolling this, and as you can see, I'm just about at the bottom there. And I've been checking it frequently to make sure that the wick is riding up in evenly. And I'm getting a little bit skeptical on how far exactly I should go down and how tight I should make this to the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and just take it most of the way, almost till I can't really even see the wick anymore. And then I'm going to go ahead and jet it, and I'm going to jet it at, I think, a 1/2 inch this time. And I'm going to roll the other stove just like normal, and we're going to fire them up and compare the two. So I just wanted to give you a little look at what it's getting to look like as I'm rolling it down with the wick inside that wall there. So, alright, I'm going to finish it up and the other one, and I'll get back with both of these ready. This is just the standard rolled Bud Light. They're both jetted exactly the same. This is the one that has the wick installed on the inside wall, and I'm going to add 1 ounce of alcohol to each one, and I'm going to be testing the amount of time it takes for each one to prime compared to each other, and I'm going to be testing the total amount of time that they burn for. This is not going to be a boil test. I do have 2 cups of water there, 2 cups of cold water, but I'm not going to be testing the boil times. They're both jetted the same, so I'd imagine the boil times to be very close. This is just to see the prime times, how they compare, and burnout times. You hit this light. So on the right we have the one with the wick in, and on the left without. It's 40 degrees out here, so these stoves are pretty cold. The alcohol is pretty cold. So the one with the wick in is slowly beginning to jet. So is the other one. So pretty much they're the same. Let's give them both a little blow. So there wasn't really a whole lot of difference in the jetting. So I'm going to go ahead and put these pots on here. We're just going to see who runs out first. So we'll be back when we get to that portion. Oil on the wick in. Okay, so 8 minutes 40 seconds burnout on the traditional style, and still going strong when the wick in. Still. Alright, so we're just about 12 minutes, and we're just starting to die down a little bit, but we're still going on the wick in stove, and we still have a good rolling boil. So you can see, again, we were burnout 8 minutes 40 seconds on the standard. We're just over 12 minutes and still burning on the wick in. So although it really didn't affect the prime time as much as I was hoping for, what it really did was greatly increase the fuel efficiency of the stove. So we're just now burning out. We've stopped boiling. There's still a small flame there, but it's enough that we're losing heat. So I'm going to call it at 12.5 minutes compared to 8 minutes and 40 seconds for the fuel efficiency for burnout. So we definitely made a more fuel efficient stove by adding the wick inside of the rolled Bud Light.